watched for an hour. I went to my car, took a nap for an hour, came back, and then watched the last hour play out for that round.
I chose my hero and made my deck to beat the North American meta, but this is a Worlds thing.
Basically the Fab meme team.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the WINANDIN podcast. I am your host, Eric Dauernheim, and with my two regular guests, Mr. Gabe Honstein and Jonathan Wyatt. How's it going, guys?
Great.
Hey, it's going well. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Yep.
Doing pretty good. Just really working on that grind for Worlds, and that's been the same old story day in, day out. That's for sure.
Nice. I got great news to start it off with, just because of your intro.
Okay,
We're on episode
what we got?
11. No, we're on 12. We're on episode 12.
Okay, this is episode 12.
I went and counted them back last week.
Yeah, the last episode, last episode I did not know. By the way, last episode over 100 views. So 200 now.
250,
Okay.
Wow.
Ooh. All right,
I'll look right now.
So we got big
250.
shoes to fill. We got to keep it going up. Can't no spikes out.
Yeah, is Peter free for another podcast? Or...
Yeah, honestly, hey, he told me, he was like, "Look, I can talk," and I was like, "That's perfect," because me and Jonathan can talk.
That's what we
But
love to
today
hear.
we got Gabe instead, and it's always good to have the boss around to kind of keep us in check. So
Keep them in shape.
Yeah. Back straight.
Yeah. Just stand up. Always, I maintain eye contact with the camera.
Right?
Oh
Lord.
The boss is watching. Look busy.
Yeah. Do mundane tasks. All right. Well, you know what? I want to get into this is a Sunday that we're recording, and this is a Sunday that the 10K event that was in Ohio, the top 8 results, or like the final results are already done. We don't know them yet. They haven't posted them, which is kind of annoying. But one of the big things that you'll hear everywhere, and including here, is that an Azalea made top 8. Which
Crazy.
is
what?
Yeah, this is a big event. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, what? So now Levia just kind of sits by herself at this point because Azalea proved herself a little bit here.
I don't know
what's
the story of that one.
well, the guy's name is Levi Roch, right? I don't know. I know his name. His first name is Levi. I can say that part. I don't know how you pronounce
Levi
his
R.
name.
Yeah,
Levi R. Levi R did it. I played Azalea. I think everyone dabbled in Azalea at some point in their Fab career. But Azalea is very good against Runeblade, and that's kind of always been her hidden advantage. Because most of the times, you just die to everything else. But, when it comes to like aggressive decks, you have cards like Red in the Ledger, right? And that's her like one big specialization card. And that really stops Runeblade. That really stops Fi. So it kind of makes sense to see her have a little spark right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're going to take her to Worlds now, or...
we're all taking her, right?
Yeah, we're all taking the Worlds. We started our Azalea tournament. I beat Paul, so I do not have to play Azalea for the rest of my life. So I'm gonna kind of keep to that. I will say there is an obscene amount of Azalea on Talishar now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
A real trend has been set. I think Azalea is probably the most popular CC hero, and Dadadol's most popular Blitz hero right now. So yeah, Talishar is really popping off.
Dude, Fab players, we're just a bunch of gossipers, man. Like every time like a new hero comes out, like everyone knows about it, and people just hop on it, right? Like
that's so true.
Bandwagon.
This is like also like a hero that people have been waiting for to see the success on. And
she's had a cult following for a while now.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's time to get out your cardboard condo, blow the dust off of it, and start getting your Azalea deck going, right?
Basically, yeah. No, basically.
Yeah, Ranger's the way.
Yeah, dude, it is. It's the best time to play Azalea, and then realize, oh, this deck isn't that great. I just always lose to Oldham.
Class.
Yeah. But good job to Levi. Honestly, that's it's not easy. And I'm sure a bit of Gym God luck was around to give him the good matchups, but I'd imagine it's still hard to play Azalea even to your best matchup. So good job to him.
Yeah, and something I want
yeah.
to say as well on top of that is just a lot of respect because, like, you know, being one of those big names that gets mentioned in Flesh and Blood outside of a calling event or higher is like a very rare thing to happen.
It's true.
So, like, yeah, Levi basically throwing his name in there into, like, you know, basically the Fab meme team. Like,
yeah, honestly, can Levi play any other hero at this point?
No.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Levi.
Start buying your cold
like
foil.
Maybe Levia?
Get your cold foil ranger equipment because you're locked in.
Oh, dude. Yeah, at this point, for real. You know, it'd be interesting. We might see her get a boost with the new bow that came out. We'll see what an aim counter means. We'll see if that really you know, does anything for Rangers. But yeah, okay. And then yeah, we don't have really much else on that, just because for whatever reason, what's the streamer or what? Yeah, what's
the Realm? The Realm is the host of this Battle Hardened.
Okay. Yeah, for whatever reason, they said, yeah, we will stream all the Swiss pairings and Swiss matchups, but we won't give you top 8 on the next day, which is like radical.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, at the end of their stream, they even said that the top 8 would be at 9. So
yeah, they were like giving like the times, and I don't know. Like, I'm guessing some technical difficulties happened. Something. I can't imagine like this was the plan.
Yeah, there might be something on the Realm's Twitter or Facebook account that may be addressing this situation, but definitely a miss, right? To not stream the top 8, not be able to stream it.
As us Fab players say, a punt.
Yeah. Right. It's really disappointing because, like, if anything, that's the thing I want to see streamed. I don't really care about Swiss as much as I care about top 8. And also, this is a 10K tournament.
Yeah, it's big. It's huge. There were some big names in the tournament. As far as I think only really Brody Spurlock was the only name that like you would recognize in the top 8 for this one, other than Levi now.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I do know Levi did make it to semifinals, so he did win his first round.
Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know much else, but I know that.
Look,
I've seen it. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Oh no, yeah, you go. You got it.
I was gonna say, because this is not nearly as important, but everyone's referring to the top 8 of these tournaments as Brody's parents' house. I don't know if you guys, like, when we were looking through Twitter, I don't know if you found that yet.
I did not. That's
There's
actually
a huge chain of it. Everyone's going off on it.
Wow.
Why is it Brody's parents' house?
Because he lives there now.
At top 8.
Yeah, at the top 8.
Okay.
The combat chain is the one that started that.
I see.
Sorry, that was
we had a little team discussion last night on that. Brody has made these top 8s, and it has been on Battle Hardens, but and he did the Nationals top 8 as well. But we haven't seen like a top 8 calling or pro tour.
I think it's only it's only really Nats and Battle Hardens and Pro Quests, right? That's the main thing he's dominating, right? So
yeah,
you know, that some of that conversation kind of generated to, is Brody one of the best players in the world? Right. So I think that was an interesting point to bring up. While I think most of the people agree that Brody is a excellent player, and I don't want to take anything away from him by any means of his skill level and his recent success. However, he has not reached a calling level, so yeah, I think calling and above is really where we're looking at for more pro level success, is what we would call it.
I would agree with that. And I think he would agree with that too.
Yeah, and I think those names are the ones that come to the forefront. Now, I definitely think Brody is a part of that conversation into getting into there, and I think we will see his name in that section.
It does feel like just a matter of time.
I just think it's a little early to say one of the best in the world yet,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So
Like congrats to like making these top 8s, but yeah, like your name's not really remembered until you get first, right?
yeah, I mean Brody's like his shoulders are growing, but he doesn't have a mountain back
Hmm.
yet, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he's like he's
Exactly.
no Akuma from Street Fighter, right? So
No, not quite. But yeah, it's you know, like you said, like I think it's just a matter of time. But yeah, let's let it sit a little bit. Let the hype die down a little bit. Um, you know what? All right, let's. All right, I'm gonna talk about it because I'm not afraid to bring up little controversial things.
Whoa,
I
whoa.
I talked about Brendan Patrick controversial stuff on this with like the whole like you know, like why people leaving the team sort of deal. And then I played against him. He was a very kind gentleman. So not that I didn't think he would be, but it was just like I'm just saying what I'm about to say here, take it with a huge grain of salt.
I think we need our hats right now, Jonathan.
yeah. Or break out the
Yeah.
cayenne pepper because it's about to get spicy.
Yeah, I like this guy. Jonathan, you just need to be on a marketing team, dude.
I think so. He's
You just need to be a collar guy and like head of a marketing team.
Imagine if he was like broadcasting these events. I'd lose it.
Gosh,
Oh man, why am I not in advertisements, guys? Like,
dude. Okay, so there has been so if you ever have this is still talking about Brody. If you've ever watched Brody like play on streams, you'll notice some of the habits that he does, which you know that's neither here nor there. I really don't care too much about that. But I think one of the big things that people have taken away is slow play, and you know there's a lot to be said about that. Like you know, there's you know, is he doing it on purpose? Is that just how he plays? You know, does he just not understand that it's you know like not a good thing? Like does he even like all these questions happen, right? Like there's even like he's just a kid, he'll learn, you know, everything's been said about it all under the sun. It's that's not what I'm here to discuss. Like what I'm here to say is that like there has been a record with this, and this goes into what's happened today. This is the quarterfinal took 90 minutes to complete. They had a bit of a late start. I can't say anything because I haven't seen it because they don't have it on stream. I don't think we're gonna have video of that, so I can't say who was being slow. But there's probably a good chance it was Brody. I think there's like a 90% chance it was. There has been a story that at I don't even know, it was a tournament at Houston. I don't know what type of tournament it was. Do you know, Jonathan?
it was a pro quest actually. So
Okay,
this,
it was a pro quest.
I got another story on top of that, so I'll let you go.
Okay, all right, yeah. Let me tell mine, and yeah, I want to hear yours too. So, pro quest at Houston, they get to top 8s. They get to finals, and the game has like gone like I think it's 11 p.m. at this point, and it's just because in top 8 there is no time limit.
Yeah, it's not even
right?
finals yet, right?
Right. So, the owner of the store like just had enough. I don't know. I think if it was maybe it was a Sunday. I don't know, but he was done. Right. He was there way longer than he thought he would be.
It's bedtime.
It's bedtime. It's like 11 p.m. Like
probably
there's no
didn't have dinner. Like
yeah. Probably didn't have dinner. You're probably absolutely right about that.
Wife and kids. They got school in the morning.
So he said, "Look, the next life total change wins the game." Right. And Brody's opponent plays the Toma Fiendel, gains a few life. And he won the game. But like the whole reason it got to that point, as hilarious as that is because of the slow play. So let's hear your story, Jonathan.
Well, I do want to just add that Dalen Mack actually took down that event as well.
Good job on
Fat
Dalen.
Ogre. So just kind of wanted to mention him since he is a Dallas local.
That's true.
Outside of that, during that same ProQuest season, there was an event at LGS, which is one of the premier game stores in the Dallas area, right? So they're one of the big hosts for us, and they host a lot of competitive events for us for Flesh and Blood. They hosted the ProQuest, and at top 8, one of the matches took 3 hours long.
Oh God, Was this him versus Paul?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't versus Paul. It was versus.
I know he had a long game. I think he had like a 2-hour game against Kai, and then follow that with like, or like a 2-hour game against Paul, and then like follow that with
Yeah.
like a long game against Kai too.
I mean, like that coupled with the Fat Ogre story really is what brought the conversation forward as far as within our local area, where everyone locally began to know Brody as a slow player, right? And I think kind of just making this full circle, I think there's been a little bit of I don't know, apologists from the streaming side of
Right.
casting to say that, hey, this is a great player. He's not playing slow. And while I agree that I think those can be exclusive things, right? You can be a great player and you can play slow. So yeah, I think that's the instance for Brody here. And yeah, I think everyone in Dallas kind of, heard what the casters are saying. He's not really a slow player, right? And everyone's just saying, well,
that one's tough to swallow.
I'm gonna call BS on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, during that LGS event, like almost every round he participated in was a 2-hour round plus, right?
Yeah.
So I literally remember going to my car, taking a nap for an hour. Right? Like we watched for an hour. I went to my car, took a nap for an hour, came back, and then watched the last hour play out for that round. And like I remember even like all the story.
You probably woke up and like, oh, it's probably over.
Yeah, like right? I'm like, oh man, this whole event's over. Like I just go home now, right? Like, it's not over. But so like everyone that was watching had something to say. The store owner had something to say.
I'm sure.
Both of them, right? So
right.
Yeah, it is an issue. So it
I think okay, so going to the caster deal. Brody is one of the most successful young Flesh and Blood players right now. If not the most successful young player, he probably is. It's hard to make you wouldn't even want to make someone a public enemy as a caster, no matter what. And you're definitely not going to do it to Brody because he is younger for sure.
Yeah, you don't want caster bias to have a negative effect on someone's life.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, though, you don't want 1.5 to 2-hour games, even if it's like in the top 8. You don't want, especially in the Swiss rounds, for to go to time. I mean, Brody's teammates are there to kind of give him that reality, which is, I think, really good. I think that's very nice. But I don't want this just to be on Brody at the same time, because like this can go to any slow play. I think it does. Slow play in this game is so crucial because we only play one game. And I know I've talked about this all the time, but I do think it does need to be called out. Because if it's not called out, then we're just not going to move forward. We're not going to progress.
100%. And this isn't like an opportunity to dogpile on Brody. We're just using him as an example. And in all honesty, he's a great example because he's performing so well right now. And we have that visibility to say, hey, this is a person that's doing it, and now we have the visibility to say that it's an issue, and he may not be the only person that's doing it. He's just the one who's successful, right? So that's really what it comes down to. So like we don't want to get in the way of any of his success, and we just want to call it an issue with slow play. Really, that's at the end of the day is what it is. Like, right?
You nailed it right on the head.
He's just kind of the kindling to start the conversation, right?
Yeah.
So I do think that slow play needs to be enforced, especially at the top 8, and like how the judges enforce that and how LSS proceeds with that. I think it will change in the future, hopefully sooner rather than later, though.
Right. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. Like, because right now, I've always said that, hey, if you think your opponent is slow playing, call a judge over, have them watch the game.
Right on.
With that being said, I've had that happen, and the judges just didn't do anything. And it's hard to say, hey, he's slow playing. I literally had to say that to a judge, like, as he was there watching. I was like, Judge, like, he took 3 minutes on this, like, one decision. Like, can we not call this right now? Like, you're right here.
Mm-hmm.
And like, sure enough, he did say something after that, but it's like, yo, like I had to say something. So I don't think that there's a guideline or policy with it, because I had that happen on 2 occasions where judges had to watch. And I think maybe that's where and it's a hard one for sure. It's definitely a hard one to kind of judge, but we do need to have some sort of like guideline or rules to go off of.
Yeah, if it's something as simple as like LSS needs to issue these judges a stopwatch, so that when someone gets called for slow play, that you have to start empirically measuring like how long they're taking to like decide these turns out, then that's what we have to do. If that's what it is, it's like, all right, more than 30 seconds, yeah, they get a warning, right?
Yeah.
And then if it passes another 30 seconds, then yeah, they get a penalty or something like that. I don't know. Like, but within that, there needs to be some sort of a guideline, and I don't think it's as difficult as people want it to be. I think it's just more along the lines of that judge help is already limited. So one of the biggest issues that I find is that when someone calls for slow play and a judge comes by to even watch, another person calls for judge and they have to go.
They're gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think that's just also another partial issue. But I hope that they can at least solve it in the top 8 and then have it trickle down to the Swiss, right? I think that would probably be the best strategy. But slow play, there's a mental toll that it takes, and
definitely.
And I think that toll is more on the control player side.
Because I absolutely agree.
They have a game
because
state
you're forced. Yeah. Like, wait. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
you're absolutely right.
You're right.
Yeah. Like, you're forced to play. You're forced to play a totally different game. If like your opponent is slow playing, you're forced to make bad decisions because you don't want to go to draw. Like, draws almost as bad as a loss, if not just as bad. So.
We're coming full circle here, right? Because we've already talked about like the draw system, that there needs to be points in this, right? Because if there aren't points in this, then slow play becomes an issue, right?
Exactly. Exactly. That's why it's so big.
And then like the concession rules that we've talked about before, that goes right into this, right? It's like
it does.
This becomes like a 3-topic triangle.
And it's like a hard to avoid talking about one when you're talking about the other.
Yeah, right. And I think that LSS needs to look to improve those things.
Yeah.
All right. I you know what? I think we said enough. I feel pretty good with that now. You know what? I feel like I got to like use you guys as my therapist right now. I got to unleash you a little bit.
All right. Well, your bill will be coming in.
yeah, I'm sure it will.
Oh yeah, I got some things to say if we're switching topics. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
I did some digging.
Okay.
I figured out who got second place at the Battle Hardened.
Who we got?
It's for Colombus, right? Is that
Yep.
the correct one? So it was on Twitter. It's Dark Odious. Dark Odious is what he goes by.
Okay.
Pretty much all I know is he got second place. He beat the Azalea player.
Okay.
And I believe he was on Dromai.
Sorry, Levi.
Yeah.
Sorry, Levi.
Rip.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I think it was a
I
Dromai
could see
guy.
that being hard.
Because in his Twitter tag, it says the Dromai guy.
Okay, so yeah. So there's you know what? We should mention that. There's like one Dromai, one Viscerai, one Azalea.
2 Oldhams, I think.
2 Oldhams. I think 2 Phis and a Briar.
Yeah, Dromai's kind of coming back. Like, people are playing it.
I think she's gonna be sneaky. I think she's kind of sneaky.
Yeah, she is. Like,
yeah.
I think like when we first tested her, like we were playing Viscerai Endure, and we just kind of said, "Well, Vis wins." And then like now that Vis is like dead, like
basically,
yeah, Dromai is like right back into the picture. So
yeah, no, for sure. If you're a Dromai that can defeat a Phi, then you're solid, right? I mean, that's your biggest matchup. So
what do you think it would take to like switch to Dromai, or do you think it's like in one of those things? Do you think that you only play Dromai if you're comfortable and have been playing it for a while, or do you think it's worth switching at this point?
I think she's one of those heroes that is a high learning curve, and so I think if you don't give her a month, then you're I don't think you're ready for her. Like I played her when she was early on. I had success with her, and I think that's really because people didn't know how to play against her. And then quickly, like Blake on our team, he took her up after that, and then he said from the get go he's going to commit to her, and yeah, I would say he's a much better Dromai player.
He committed, all right.
Yeah,
for better,
yeah,
for
financially
worse.
That's
too.
lightly
Yeah.
saying it.
Yeah, like I felt so bad because like he was like our test dummy, like our impact dummy. Like,
but we learned so much because of that, though. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I have a way better understanding of Dromai, and I definitely feel like I could pick up a Dromai deck, not to that degree, but and be a little bit better though than someone who's just fresh. But yeah, Blake was an excellent resource during that time. Like, yeah, he went through the gauntlet.
He did, and he became out a much better player. That's for sure. I know this one time he was like, "Yo, I want you to play Dromai so I can see how you play it." And this is like after he's been playing it a lot. And so I was like, I guess. And so I played it, and just like me and Paul were like kind of, Paul was coaching me on that one, and I was like, so what would Blake do here? And it's like that's where we were at. So I think Dromai, I don't think if I was like, you know what, maybe she's in a good spot right now. Like, even if she took first at this thing, I don't think I could switch to her. And I think unless you've been playing Dromai for a good while, and I mean like an actual good while, then I don't think it's one of those heroes you can switch to.
Yeah, and I suppose that since this Worlds format is more of a format that's meant to test, like, hey, who's been seeing continued success in like a stagnant meta, so to speak. We're gonna find out who the best player is, and yeah, kind of exciting.
I'm glad you said that word meta, because right now, and we're going to talk about the national meta right now, and I really think that it shows Azalea getting into a top 8. I think we're in one of the best metas as far as my Fab playing goes.
I miss Bravo, star of the show. I'll say it. He was so
fun. That was not one of the best metas. I didn't mind playing in that meta, but it was definitely a more so limited. Cool.
Gabe,
you had 3 heroes.
Gabe, we're not trying to make enemies on this podcast. We're trying to make friends. Let's break out the marshmallows.
I take it back. The fingers were crossed.
No, it's Gabe's honing in those old Starvo players that are long gone. I do like the Reddit page. It's just a lot of rips and graveyards right now.
Yeah.
Okay, but this meta is one of the. It's super diverse. You do have your big 3, but they're not like the only like if you play another hero, you can still make a top 8 and even get first. But you do got your Briar, your Oldhim, and your Fi. I think Briar. So like I'm looking at like the Nationals breakdown for the final thoughts, and it shows the overall that it's Briar, Oldhim, Fi. But and I think that's really cool that it shows overall. And then if you scroll down, it'll show like the North American one, because this one has Oldhim, Fi, and Dromai as the top ones to that are like being played the most. So I think it's pretty cool how like each region has a different one. Like Briar is not even the top 5 in that one. So it's interesting how I don't think Briar is super prevalent in the meta, but that's because I'm in the North American meta. But if we're in like Europe, she's the most prevalent. Oldham's actually 3rd in that one. So it's really cool how and like Viscerai is best in Oceania. We just called Viscerai dead.
Yeah, that is really weird. But when I see 3 regions that are playing Briar as their top 3, and then NA,
it's insane.
There have been too many sports where in North America just stopped competing on. And
okay.
Because because we've missed the target, we're not practicing as hard as other nations are, or things like this, or we're misreading the meta. But in a lot of these international events, whether it's I don't know, basketball, soccer, even stuff like League of Legends or Valorant, Overwatch, stuff like that. It's if an international team is playing something and North America is not.
Noted.
I mean, like, I hate to say it, but we're kind of just a bunch of cupcakes compared to some of these nations. So that does concern me a little bit that we're not on Briar.
It is interesting. Yeah, we're the only like continent that doesn't have Briar in the top 3, and like I said, not even in the top 5. So it's very interesting. I think I was really planning. I was like, okay, I'm gonna see a lot of Oldhams. I'm gonna see a lot of Fives. I'm gonna see a lot of Icelanders, right?
Yeah.
But that's because I'm in North America. Now I'm looking at these, and I'm like, there's a very good chance I'm gonna see a lot of Briars. And was like, I chose my hero and made my deck to like beat the North American meta, but this is a Worlds thing. So now that Briar's in the mix, I wonder, like, and even Viserai, we might see more Viserais in the mix. Am I choosing the right hero at this point?
Oh man,
but
why'd you gotta ask that question? Because now I'm asking it. Like,
I know it's so interesting.
The tweaking will never end, dude. Like,
it's surely, yeah.
This is actually kind of crazy. I didn't realize they broke it down by region. That's huge.
I think that's super cool, especially when a Worlds event is coming up. That like makes total sense to do that. So I do want to say that this is pre Pulse of Isenloft banning. So I do think we will see a slight tick down in Oldhams. I still think we're going to see quite a bit of Oldhams. So, but yeah, it's all right. So let's just go by the as it's ordered. So the overall meta from all players across the world, Briar is the most represented. Very close behind it is Oldham, and then Fi, and then Dromai and Viserai. So those are the top 5. So it's definitely Briar, Oldham, Fi is like the big guys. But then when we get to the heroes making top 8, we see Oldham's the most successful, and then it's Briar, and then it's Fi. So Fi looks like, that's like on par. Oldham definitely gets a big jump. So this would suggest, if you want to make top 8, that Oldham would be a good hit, as well as Briar. And then, but we see a huge jump with Icelander as far as like representing the top 8. So Icelander has very good success. And then Viserai is kind of on par as well.
One thing to be fair, Fi and Icelander have the same percentage. So Fi might have been a little higher, but
oh, they do. You're right. That is a good point. Yeah, no, yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Fi is kind of on par where like the overall amount of people playing Fi and this is how many you're gonna get in top 8. That kind of fits together. But Icelander gets a jump. Dromai gets a huge decrease.
Yeah.
So despite her being one of the more popular heroes to play, she did not make a lot of top 8s. And then as far as just like who wins, like Oldham is by far like the hero to take if you want to try to win a thing. Briar is 2nd, and then Viserai is 3rd, and then Icelander 4th, 5, 5th. And then every other hero has about 1 or 2 wins. I think they're just 1 wins.
I think so,
honestly. Yeah. So really those 5 heroes, Oldham, Briar, Viserai, Icelander, and Fi, are the only heroes that really has continued success. So now that has all been out there, I posted the question or before the first or the second Pro Quest, like what hero is going to win it. I famously got it right with Briar. Now that we have all this data out here in front of our face, I'll start with you, Gabe.
Ooh.
What hero is going to be the world champion?
Oh,
that is such an open question.
That's huge.
It is. Yeah. Tell me the hero and like tell me why.
Oh man, I wish I had a great answer for you.
I put you on the spot.
All right.
We did not.
I know
prep
Oldham
this
looks
question.
preferable, but I don't think it's going to be Oldham.
Ooh, okay.
Because I think all the good players are going to be like, I don't know. I want to say it's going to be like a Viserai. I think it's a Runeblade. I think it's still going to be Viserai or Briar. I want to hedge towards Briar, but I like Briar more.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think anyone could blame you for picking Briar at this point. Like,
Mm-hmm. I mean,
that's
look,
what I'm
she was
playing.
so close from becoming living legend, right?
Well, she's at what? 77. She's so close.
I
Yeah.
think if
So
she,
I think Briar.
she can
Yeah,
get
sorry,
it.
Jonathan.
She can get it, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think so.
If she wins Worlds, she's gone.
Oh yeah. I think
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, if she wins a battle hardened, I think she's gone, right?
Yeah. Well, she has decent matchups into these decks. I don't know. I'm biased.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want Briar out of here, personally, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I think that I don't think she'll win Worlds. I think we'll probably see her leave after ProQuest season,
Okay.
season 3. Um,
I think so too.
yeah, I think Briar is going to be a little bit of a slower burn. We're
I'll
gonna
put my money she's gone at Worlds.
I think we're gonna
Not
have
just
to.
from the event, but like the battle hardened or calling. I guarantee she'll get enough points there.
I mean,
I think that's fair.
other than like Brody, like North America is like we're not really doing anything to like push Briar to living legend. So like we're waiting
Sure.
on Europe, Asia, Oceania.
That being said, we haven't had a North American winner for the first 2 Pro Quests. And so, unless we're going to really show up for Worlds, you know.
We better.
Yeah, it's kind of we kind of have to. It's on our home turf.
Well, I mean, my pick will kind of relate to that because
Okay.
you know, I don't like just picking the hero. I like picking the person. You know me.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
You picked Hayden Dale's Viscera.
I'm a bit of a gambler, man. Like I don't know.
I like it. I like it.
It's fun that way.
But yeah, I want Michael Hamilton to win.
Okay.
He's became like probably my second favorite fat player. Like I really appreciate what he like does for the game.
Are you number 1 on?
No.
On your own list, yeah.
I personally I've played Matt Rogers 3 times, and I personally have enjoyed each and every game that we played, and then even after the game. So I think he's my favorite right now. But if I got to play Michael Hamilton and we get to talk after the game and whatnot, there's a good chance he could take that easily.
I think like the thing about him is that like I think that when you talk to certain people in the card game space, that whenever you talk to them about certain techs and stuff like that, they become a little jaded on like, oh, well, this hasn't won an event, so it's not good.
Right.
I feel like Michael Hamilton is one of those people where it's like, hey, have you ever heard of Vigor Rush?
Yeah.
How do you feel about putting that into a deck? He'd actually talk through it with you and have that discussion, and I feel like he would help you take that deck to the next level. And I think
he's probably one of the most valuable teammates, honestly, because of that.
Yeah, I think, like, in all honesty, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of patting my team on the back here, but, like, I think, like, after joining Sneep, one of the things I found a lot of value in is having those Johnny players talk through those, like, the weird cards and stuff, because, like, those are the people that want to test and want to, like, get those little micro improvements through like those little card switches. So I think Michael Hamilton is like the height of a Johnny player.
Oh, I'd give him that. Absolutely.
Like
yeah,
and like I don't know, like I think that does great as like a person to promote the game as like an advertisement, and I think it's great to have someone to converse with that as well. So
yeah, no, certainly.
But yeah, I'm hoping Michael Hamilton on Icelander. I hope he changes even Icelander.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. You know what? I would be absolutely thrilled if Icelander won it. I think that'd be a very cool hero to take it.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a betting man, I had money to spare on this. It's really between, and this kind of goes with the North American view I have, but it's really between Oldham and Fi for me. Okay. I think both of those. So I think Oldham has so much versatility that we can see like 3 different Oldham builds going into Worlds. And maybe one of those builds is like the build to beat all the Briars and all the Dromites or like whatever else we might see. I could see that happening as Oldham. If that was Oldham, it'd probably be Eric Dauernheim as Oldham.
Ooh, I like. He just made a good deck tech video. Have you seen that yet?
Did.
I heard it's going to be the national.
I might have to copy that deck list.
Delete it.
No, I mean, yeah. So But the other thing is like I don't know if there's a bit of bias with that one, and so like that's why I'm also really heavily considering Fi, because I do think Fi has that very aggro style that can just kind of just get someone there, like someone who's like knows the deck inside and out. Like I would say Fi is one of the easiest decks to pick up, but I'm thinking this person that wins has been playing Fi for like 3 months now. Knows the decks inside and out, knows how to play each matchup, and I can see a very skilled Fi player taking it as well.
Could it be our boy Peter?
That'd be really cool. I'd
That'd
be
be so
fucking ecstatic if it was Peter.
He's so cool.
Yeah, anytime you like know someone and they see success at any level, I feel like I just want them to succeed at this point.
Yeah.
So
and
and
it's your homie.
Yeah, that's why Flesh and Blood's a great game. Is that I don't like I have my competitive side, and then I still want my friends to succeed. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna stick with Oldham. I think Oldham's gonna take it, so that's my pick.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of to your point, like he is kind of that, like he gets into that dash section where it's like there's
a little bit.
There's that mind game now because he has like those different builds that he can kind of go into, and like a lot of like the more aggro heroes, that's all they have is just aggro. So
yeah.
And I think
they gotta be really tuned.
I think the Oldham mind games are kind of interesting, but I think you made an interesting point about like kind of the regionality. It is it is a North American event world, so like what's the percentage going to be like? That's something that I'm really interested in seeing on day one is like what's the percent nationality to like any degree, right?
That would be cool. I hope they do like some sort of data like that, because I think that'd be like so awesome. Cool.
I mean, that would paint such a huge narrative, especially early on to like the meta as well, and just say like, hey, like I mean, just the discussion we had, North America is not playing the same heroes that everybody else is playing. We're
not even.
We don't like to block, right? Like so, I don't know. Like, I really want to see what happens because like one of the regions that I think we just got to watch out for is Europe.
Yeah. Europe has had continued success through the big tournaments. And you would think at least I would think it'd be like Oceania, since that's where like the game originated. But yeah, I remember when I first started playing this game, first started playing competitively. I remember hearing that Dorinthia was huge in Europe, and Europe is a laughing stock.
Yes.
And yeah, that was like a thing. But now, like, we're who's the laughing stock now?
That is kind of interesting because I remember like when COVID kind of first started and Flesh and Blood was popping off, like there was like a weird like national pride that everyone like had, right? And like the New Zealand players were talking mad shit about US players. And I remember there was that Rumble Discord server that was like on 24/7 where anyone could like play. And like I remember getting on and like all I heard was them shitting on like North America. And I was just like, oh, I don't ever want to play because like all they're gonna do is just scrutinize my play, like and talk shit about like I don't know. But anyway,
they're like, oh, that's such the American thing to do, to not block here.
Yeah, you wanted to go aggro? Oh man. But yeah, like I think it's kind of interesting because Europe was like the laughing stock, as you mentioned, and now they're putting up numbers. So
they definitely are.
I think they have more, like I don't know, their culture is really interesting, and I think they have more ingenuity and a lot of pride, right, in what they build. So yeah, I think they're gonna be the group to watch.
I think that's fair. I'm gonna say that I hope we can get one. Especially on our home turf. I hope we can get one. I think the most like American thing to do is I think we're huge net deckers. I think, and I'm fine with that. I'm not saying that as like a bad term, but I think that's where our strengths are, is that we will net deck. That's why I honestly think that's why we have a different meta. It's because we're not trying to
homebrew, be creative.
We're not trying to homebrew. We're not trying to respond to the meta. We're like, yeah, I'll take that. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll
we got
play that now.
we got a fast food culture for decks.
We do.
Right? We don't want to home make this recipe. We want to go to McDonald's.
Right.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
So I think that's why we see it a little differently. But
Damn, that's a good point, Eric.
Yeah.
I've always thought about that. Yeah.
So that means we're better because we're choosing the better decks.
I mean, that's how we view it.
Yeah.
I guarantee that's
America's
how we
#1.
view it.
Europe's horrible.
Yeah. Ingenuity, we don't need that. We just look. I think it's a very American thing, and again, I hope we win it. And I have pride for us, but I think it's a very American thing to be like, oh, I can take that deck and I can play it better.
It is so true.
I think that's really how a lot of people see it.
Oh no.
Or I can do that too.
Right?
You know?
If you can do it, it's like
yeah. Anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, basically.
What movie was that
Alright.
from? That's Annie. There's no.
Anything you can do.
Yeah,
I
that
can
sounds
do better.
That sounds like Annie, but
All right.
I don't know. Anyways,
too old for us. We're not that boomer. We're still young.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the last thing just want to talk about here is so we've been having some earlier than I expected, but we've been having some Dynasty spoilers that have came out. Let's start off with you, Gabe. Has there been any like spoiler that like really stuck out to you?
I think out of all the spoilers, because they spoiled all those Marvel cards and their really cool frames.
That's true. The black border frames, yeah.
As well as those couple leaks. I think the biggest takeaway I had was I really like the new frame border for the Marvels and how they did it with the weapons. That's my most exciting thing. I think minus that, just the theme of it, like rock.
I think that's
cool.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I do like how the Marvels are different than like the Uprising Marvels.
Yeah, I like the orange on the back of it being kind of like the primary color because I think that will definitely pop with the cold foil treatment that they're going to put on that. My only concern on that side would be the black cold foil, just because we've seen it done on stuff like the Spellbound Creepers and it's been lackluster.
Oh yeah.
So
that's fair. That is fair.
That is a concern of mine, just because this is like the cool new thing, and like there's a lot of black on it, right? So
yeah,
that is a concern. One of the things that I thought was kind of interesting was the ninja chess piece.
Right.
Not just how annoyingly it was spoiled slowly over time. Like that was like literally the dumbest way you can do that.
Yo, give us a spoiler card. We'll just give it to them. We won't tease the people.
No, that was like literally the worst thing anyone could have done. Like I don't know. Like that was really disappointing. But like with that, I feel like if anything, for me, it brought forward like my tinfoil hat. So it just suctioned itself right on my head. And I was just like, oh well, does this mean that Katsu is getting the Starvo treatment?
Oh, you did say Katsu. I thought you meant Kano, and I was like, nah, dude, we already have the Emperor.
Right.
No, that's my
interesting.
I remember that conversation. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
We've talked about Draconic, right? And like if a Draconic hero is coming, an old hero is getting Draconic, I feel like the most likely thing would be Katsu rather than Kano, because Kano, yes, it does fit the narrative. However, a lot of the Draconic attacks that we're seeing are go again attacks, and who benefits the most off of go again is Katsu, not Kano. Like, how weird would it be to have a Kano that attacks and does magic damage? We haven't seen that yet. So I think as far as like kind of an easier thing to fit into outside of just narrative and the cards that are available, I think is Katsu.
That makes sense, especially since it's one of the original heroes, and they did the first one with Bravo.
He could use a bump too, honestly.
All right, so remind me in 1 month, right? And then second off, if it doesn't come true, just delete the video, please.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Edit it out. Yep. We'll just put in, I really liked Rock.
Rock good.
Yeah.
So that is
Yeah,
kind of
right.
my out there take, right? That's my
That's cool.
spice for the
I like
new
it.
hero.
The
So
cayenne.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
That's good shit. I like, yeah, that's a good one. My favorite has been, and it's just kind of like one of the first things that I noticed about this card game. I thought was really cool. Is I really like Crouching Tiger. I like that they're cool just naming it Crouching Tiger. They're cool with like naming like these cards like Choke Slam, or I mean, it's like
Ooh,
they could
Rangers
be
have
on
good
the
ones.
noses. We're gonna see a Hidden Dragon. I'm almost for sure.
Uh,
We got a wax on, right, and wax off now. Like, come on, like this game is fine with doing that, and I think that's really cool. So I don't know what a Crouching Tiger is yet, but I'm excited to find
They're
out.
fine with mixing Japanese and Chinese cultures with each other. That doesn't.
It's a bab culture.
I.
Swirls.
Yeah, well, it's
All right. Well, I'll tell you, like, just from that comment,
yeah.
you know how I felt about Crouching Tiger. I was like, that's not ninja. That's wuxia. Like, that's not.
Look, man, it's all movies. All right, don't even worry. It's just a
Not even
reference
what
to
he's
the movie,
talking
not the
about.
culture.
Yeah,
That's all.
I was personally offended. Dude,
Oh
I
man.
so want Crouching Tiger to be like a +1 attack reaction for on each Crouching Tiger that you can apply, because
That'd be
because
cool.
it would be a 0 for 3 at that point, and that's on par
Hmm.
with ninja cards. And I've heard people say that that's OP, but ninja needs attack reactions, and I
I
think
mean, that's what Ninja does is attack react.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So
all right.
yeah.
That'd be cool.
My warrior friend would disagree with you on that one.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, Warriors definitely are the attack
But
react,
I
but
definitely feel like Ninja needs more agency in that, and a 0 cost attack reaction that isn't Ancestral Empowerment has been needed for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
Rapid Reflex was not the answer.
Rapid Reflex was dog.
It was good
That
and
card is
sealed,
bad.
like to block.
Yeah, I'm about to say that, not even to use. It's good to pitch if you have a blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I think that's about it. There's not a lot that happened this last weekend. I think it's just everyone's just getting ready for
Yeah, I
Worlds.
think we're just
So
grinding right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I feel like most of our team has their deck list ready, and now it's just the grind, getting those little itty bitty things putting together, just putting reps on the table, just so that it becomes like second nature when we get to Worlds.
Yeah, and I think you
Mm-hmm.
were saying for our podcast for 13 that we were going to actually discuss like how we're prepping for Worlds, and just kind of those discussions as well. So kind of just a little bit
Yeah.
of a preview for
Yeah.
our listeners there.
Yeah, we'll be going what we do as a team, how we're going to like how we've been prepping. Like, yeah, we'll get into the whole thing. We got some
And
good topics.
honestly, if any of the viewers have questions or anything they want to know about Worlds and our game plan, they can always comment and we can answer some of those.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I definitely want to like give you guys a slice of time here, because the viewers have just been, you guys have been awesome. Like, we've been getting more and more. So I appreciate you guys checking in. The video stuff I think works because
Yeah.
we're getting y'all get to see our faces and see our reactions. But
Our beautiful
yeah,
personalities.
our
That's
personalities
what
are
it
really
is.
shining through now. But yeah, and then we'll try to get more guests as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I think that was a lot of fun, and we'll continue to do that. So until then, I appreciate my best friends, my best guests, Mr. Gabe, Mr. Jonathan Wyatt, and to all the viewers out there, thanks for listening, and keep on fabbing. We'll see you next time.